market, her arms heavy with groceries. The dusty streets of her neighborhood were alive with the usual chatters of vendors and children playing, but her mind was elsewhere. She had been waiting for weeks, checking the mailbox every day, hoping for news about the scholarship. Her family's future depended on it. Her mother's health was failing, and her younger brother's school fees were overdue. The scholarship to the prestigious Evergreen Academy was her only hope. When she arrived home, she saw it. A crispy white envelope with the school emblem stamped in gold. Her hands trembled as she tore it open. Her words blurred as she read them. "Congratulations, Chidera. You have been awarded the Evergreen Merit Scholarship." Tears streamed down her face as she sank to the floor, clutching the letters to her chest. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to dream of a future beyond the confines of her small town. The gates of Evergreen Academy loomed before her, their wrought iron arches adorned with intricate designs of ivories and lorries. Chidera felt out of place in her second-hand uniform, her suitcase held together by duct tape. The other students arriving in sleek cars and designers' uniforms seemed to belong to a different world. She took a deep breath, reminded herself that she had earned her place. As she walked through the campus, she marveled at the manicured lawns, the towering libraries, and the modern classrooms. Her heart raced with a mix of excitement and anxiety. She was about to start a new chapter of her life, one that promised opportunities she had only dreamt of. But as she approached the administration block, she noticed a group of students whispering and glancing her way. One of them, a tall, handsome boy with an air of confidence, caught her eyes. He was surrounded by admirers. He smiled effortlessly and his demeanor commanding. She didn't know it yet, but this was Jide, the student council president. And her life was about to change forever. Chidera's first day of classes was whirlwind. The professor spoke with an eloquence she had never encountered, and the coursework was challenging but exhilarating. During lunch, she found herself sitting alone in the cafeteria, nervously picking at her food. That's when Jide approached her. "You're the new scholarship student, right?" he asked, his voice smooth and confident. Chidera nodded, unsure of what to say. "Welcome to Evergreen. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to ask." His smile was warm, but there was something in his eyes, a flicker of something she couldn't quite place. As he walked away, she couldn't help but feel a mix of admiration and curiosity. Who was this boy who seems to command the attention of everyone around him? Over the next few weeks, Chidera threw herself into her studies, determined to prove she belonged to Evergreen. But she couldn't ignore the whispers that followed her. Some students admired her brilliance, while others resented her presence. One day, as she was leaving the library, she overheard a conversation that made her blood run cold. "Did you hear? Jide's family put some string to get her here," one student said. "They wanted to make sure their competition was out of the way." Chidera froze, her mind racing. Was it true? Had Jide's family bribed the school to remove another candidate? She couldn't believe it, but the seed of doubt had already been planted. Chidera decided to confront Jide. She found him in the student council office, poring over stacks of books. "Is it true?" she demanded, her voice trembling. "Did your family bribe the school to get me here?" Jide looked up, his expression unreadable. "Where did you hear that?" he asked calmly. "It doesn't matter," she replied. "I just need to know the truth." Jide sighed, running a hand through his head. "My family has influence, Chidera. But I didn't know any of this until you admitted, I swear." Chidera searched his eyes, looking for any sign of deception. She wanted to believe him, but the doubts lingered. Determined to uncover the truth, Chidera began digging into the scholarship selection process. She spent hours in the library, poring over records and talking to staff members. Her investigation led her to a name, Adaobi, the other top candidate for the scholarship. Adaobi had mysteriously withdrawn her application just days before the final decision. Chidera's heart sank. Had Adobe been pressured to withdraw? She knew she had to find her and get answers. Chidera's search for Adobe led her to a small cafe on the outskirts of town. Adobe was working there as a waitress. her once bright eyes now dull with resignation. When Chidera approached her, Adobe's face hardened. "What do you want?" she asked coldly. "I just want to know what happened," Chidera replied. "Why did you withdraw our applications?" Adobe hesitated, then signed. "I didn't have a choice. Saul made it clear that if I didn't, my family would suffer." Chidera's heart ached for Adobe, and she knew she had to press further. "Was it Jide's family?" Adobe nodded, her eyes filled with tears. "They have too much power. I couldn't risk it." Chidera left the cafe, feeling conflicted. She had the truth, but it came with a heavy burden. Jide's family had manipulated the system, and she had benefited from it. She felt a mix of guilt and anger. Guilt for taking Adobe's place and anger at the injustice of it all. When she returned to campus, she found Jide waiting for her. "Did you find what you were looking for?" he asked, his voice tingling with sadness. Chidera nodded. "I did. And now I don't know what to do." Jide reached out, taking her hands. "I'm sorry, Chidera. I didn't know any of this, but I want to make it right." Chidera looked into his eyes, searching for sincerity. She wanted to believe him, but the truth had changed everything. Chidera spent the next few days wrestling with her conscience. She felt she had to do something, but what? If she exposed the truth, she risked losing her scholarship and everything she had worked for. But if she stayed silent, she would be a complice in the injustice. Finally, she made her decision. She would confront the school administration and demand that Adobe be given a fair chance. It was the right thing to do, even if it meant sacrificing her own future. Chidera requested a meeting with the school scholarship committee. She presented her findings, her voice steady despite the fear of groaning at her. The committee members listened in silence, their expressions unreadable. When she finished, the chairman leaned forward, his eyes piercing. "Do you realize the implication of what you're saying, Miss Chidera?" "I do," she replied, "but I can't stand by and let this injustice continue." The chairman nodded slowly. "We would investigate this matter thoroughly. In the meantime, your scholarship will remain intact." Chidera left the meeting, feeling a mix of relief and anxiety. She had taken a stand, but the battle was far from over. Jide found Chidera in the library later that evening. "I heard about the meeting," he said, his voice low. "I'm proud of you." Chidera looked up, surprised. "You are?" Jide nodded. "I have been doing some digging on my own. My family's actions were wrong, and I want to help make things right." Chidera felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, they could fix this together. The school's investigation into the scholarship scandal sent shockwaves through Evergreen. Students and faculties alike were abuzed, with rumors and speculations. Chidera and Jide worked together, gathering evidence and advocating for Adobe's reinstatement. As they spent more time together, Chidera found herself drawn to Jide in ways she hadn't expected. Despite his family's action, he was kind, intelligent, and determined to do the right thing. But she couldn't ignore the lingering thought. Could she trust him completely? After weeks of investigation, the school announced that Adobe would be offered a scholarship effectively immediately. Chidera felt a surge of relief and joy. She had done the right thing, and Adobe would finally get the chance she deserved. When Adobe returned to campus, she sought out Chidera. "Thank you," she said, her voice filled with emotions. "I don't know how to repay you." Chidera smiled. "You don't have to. Just make the most of this opportunity." As the days passed, Chidera and Jide grew closer. They spent hours studying together, sharing their dreams and fears. Chidera found herself opening up to him in ways she hadn't with anyone else. But the shadow of the scandal still loomed over them. Jide's family was furious, and they made it clear that they disapproved of his relationship with Chidera. Jide's parents summoned him home for a family meeting. They demanded that he cut ties with Chidera and focus on upholding the family reputation. Jide refused, standing his ground. When he returned to campus, he was more determined than ever to fight for what he believed in. But the mainstream was taking a toll. Chidera could see the toll the situation was taking on Jide. She wanted to support him, but she also feared that their relationship was becoming too complicated. One evening, as he sat by the lake, she turned to him. "Jide, I don't want to come between you and your family." Jide took her hand. "You are not. This is my choice, Chidera. I believe in us." Chidera felt a surge of emotions. Despite everything, she believed in them too. Just as things seemed to be settling down, a new challenge arose. A rival student, jealous of Chidera's success, began spreading rumors about her. The whispers threatened to undermine everything she had worked for. Chidera knew she had to confront the rumors head-on, but she also knew it wouldn't be easy. Chidera decided to address the rumor directly. She called a meeting with her classmates and laid out the facts. Her voice steady and confident. "I have nothing to hide," she declared. "I earned my place here. I wouldn't let anyone take that away from me." Her works resonated with many of her peers, and the rumors began to lose their power. Despite her success in querying the rumor, Chidera couldn't shake the feelings of doubt that lingered in the back of her mind. She wondered if she would ever truly belong at Evergreen. Jide noticed her unease and did his best to reassure her. "You are stronger than you think, Chidera. Don't let anyone make you doubt that." Chidera smiled, grateful for his support, but she knew she had to find her own strength. As the semester drew to a close, Chidera reflected on everything she had been through. She has faced challenges she never could have imagined, but she had also grown stronger and more resilient. She knew there would be more obstacles ahead, but she was ready to face them. With Jide by her side and a renewed sense of purpose, she felt ready to take the world. As the new semester began, Chidera felt a renewed sense of purpose. She had proven her resilience, but the challenge at Evergreen were far from her. The school's elite circle still viewed her as an outsider, and Jide's family continued to pressure him to distance himself from her. One evening, as they sat in the library, Jide turned to her with a serious expression. "My parents are hosting a gala next week. They have asked me to attend, and they want me to bring someone suitable." Chidera's heart sank. She knew what that meant. "Are you going to go?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. Jide hesitated. "I want you to come with me, but I know it wouldn't be easy." Chidera nodded and resolved hardenly, "I would go. I'm not afraid of them." The night of the gala arrived, and Chidera felt like a fish out of the water. The grand ballroom was filled with the city's elite, their laughter and chatter echoing off the crystal chandeliers. Chidera's parents greeted her with cold politeness, their disdain barely concealed. As the evening progressed, Chidera overheard a group of guests whispering about her. "Isn't that the scholarship girl? What's she doing here?" Jide noticed her discomfort and took her hand. "Ignore them. You belong here just as much as anyone else." Chidera smiled, grateful for his support, but she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being judged at every turn. The gala took an unexpected turn when Jide's father, Mr. Adebayo, took the stage to give a speech. He spoke about the importance of integrity and hard work, his words dripping with irony. Chidera couldn't stay silent. She stood up, her voice cutting through the room. "Integrity is more than just words, Mr. Adebayo. It's about actions." The room fell silent, all eyes on her. Jide's father glared at her, but she held her ground. The fallout from the gala was swift. Jide's family was furious, and the incident made headlines. Chidera found herself at the center of a media storm, with some praising her courage and others criticizing her audacity. Jide stood by her side, but the strain on their relationship was evident. "I don't know how much longer I could keep fighting my family," he admitted one evening. Chidera understood his struggle, but she also knew they couldn't back down. Amid the chaos, Chidera found an unexpected ally in Adaobi. The two girls bonded over their shared experiences, and Adaobi encouraged Chidera to keep fighting. "You have already made a difference," Adaobi said. "Don't let anyone silence you." Chidera felt a renewed sense of determination. She wasn't alone in this fight. The school's investigation into the scholarship scandal gained new momentum after the gala incident. More evidence came to light, implicating not only Jide's family but also several members of the school administration. Chidera and Jide worked together to ensure the truth was revealed, but the stakes were higher than ever. As the investigation progressed, Jide's family offered him an ultimatum: cut ties with Chidera or lose his inheritance. Jide was torn, but he knew what he had to do. "I can't abandon you," he told Chidera, "but I also can't keep fighting my family like this." Chidera understood, but the plan of their separation was almost too much to bear. With Jide stepping back, Chidera focused on her studies and her fight for justice. She became a voice for the marginalized students at Evergreen, advocating for fairness and transparency. Her efforts earned her both admiration and enemies, but she refused to back down. Jide decided to publicly denounce his father's actions, even if it meant losing everything. His bravery inspired others to come forward, and the tides began to turn in Chidera's favor. The two reunited, their bond stronger than ever. The school announced sweeping reforms, including a new scholarship program for underprivileged students. Chidera's fight had paid off, and she felt a sense of accomplishment she had never known before. But also, she also knew the journey wasn't over. With the scandals behind them, Chidera and Jide looked to the future. They had both grown through the challenges they faced, and they were ready to start anew. As they walked across the campus, hand in hand, Chidera felt a sense of hope she hadn't felt in a long time. Chidera and Jide began planning their future together, determined to make a difference in the world. They knew there would be more challenges, but they were ready to face them together. Their love had survived the truth, and it was stronger than ever. Chidera was sorting through old scholarship documents in the school archives when she stumbled upon a hidden file. It contained emails between Chidera's father and the school's former headmaster, detailing not just the bribery of Adaobi's removal, but also a plan to sabotage Chidera's academic record if she became too troublesome. Her hands trembled as she read the words. This was bigger than she thought. She rushed to find Jide, but when she reached his dorm, she found him packing his bags. "What's going on?" she asked, her voice shaking. Jide looked up, his face pale. "My father's been arrested. I have to go home." Chidera's heart sank. The truth was unveiling faster than she could process. Jide returned home to find his family in chaos. His father's arrest had sent shockwaves through their community. The media camped outside their mansion, hungry for a story. Chidera's mother, once poised and unshakable, now looked broken. "You did this," she accused him, her voice trembling with anger. "You chose her over us." Jide felt the weight of her words, but he couldn't deny the truth. His father's action had brought this upon them. Still, the guilt groaned at him. Could he have handled things differently? Back at Evergreen, Chidera discovered that some of the school staff were still loyal to Jide's father. They began targeting her, spreading rumors and even tampering with her assignment. She knew she couldn't fight them alone. Desperate, she reached out to Adaobi. "I need your help," she asked. She said, "We have to expose them before they destroy everything we have worked for." Adaobi hesitated and then nodded. "I'm in. But this could get dangerous." Chidera knew the risk, but she had no choice. The truth had to come out. Chidera and Adaobi arranged a secret meeting with a journalist who had been investigating corruptions at Evergreen. They handed over the evidence they had gathered, hoping it would be enough to bring the remaining culprits to justice. As they left the meeting, a shadowy figure followed them. Chidera's heart raced. Were they being watched? The next day, Chidera's dorm room was ransacked, Her laptop was gone, along with all her notes from the investigation. She felt a surge of panic. Had they been too careless? Jide called her that evening, his voice filled with concern. "I heard what happened. Are you okay?" "I'm fine," Chidera lied, trying to sound brave, but deep down she was terrified. Chidera began to suspect that someone close to her had betrayed her. She confided in Adaobi, who suggested they set a trap to uncover the mole. They planted false information about their next move, waiting to see who would take the bait. To Chidera's shock, the mole turned out to be a classmate she had trusted, a quiet, unassuming girl named Funke. When confronted, Funke broke down in tears. "They threatened my family," she sobbed. "I didn't have a choice." Chidera felt a mix of anger and pity. The corruption ran deeper than she had imagined. With Funke's confession, Chidera and Adaobi realized they needed to act quickly. They decided to go public with their evidence, even if it meant putting themselves in danger. They scheduled a press meeting, but as they approached, Chidera couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to go wrong. The night before the press conference, Chidera was walking back to her dorm when a car pulled up beside her. Two men jumped out, grabbed her, and forcing her into the vehicle. She struggled, but they were too strong. As the car sped away, she realized she was completely alone. When Chidera didn't return to her dorm, Adaobi raised the alarm. Jide, who had returned to campus, joined the search, his heart pounding with fear. "We have to find her," he said, his voice filled with desperation. But as the hours passed, there was no sign of her. Chidera woke up in a dimly lit room, her hands tied. A man stood over her, his face obscured by shadows. "You should have stayed out of this," he said, his voice cold. Chidera's mind raced. Who was he, and what did they want from her? Using her wits, Chidera managed to loosen her bonds and escape from the room. She ran through the dark, unfamiliar